Okay, hello everyone. My name is Mike Berry. I started my career a long time ago at Procter & Gamble, and since then I've been at Wonderman, where I was a board director in London and working in the European operation. That's part of Young and Rubicam for digital and direct. And I've also been at Euro RSCG, and most recently I was head of digital at Jack Morton, which is Interpublic's experiential network. Since then I've been a freelance trainer and consultant and specializing in digital marketing. A long time ago, I wrote a book, The New Integrated Direct Marketing, and I've been in digital since about 1995. Okay, well, the other thing I should tell you about is now I've got grey hair, I'm allowed to call myself a professor, which sounds very grand. And for years, I've worked in commerce and industry, and I thought academic life was not something I was ever going to be part of. But recently, I was appointed adjunct professor at Hult International Business School in London, which is a US-based business school. They're involved in many key markets in the world, and very excitingly I'm the lead tutor on something called the Master of Digital Marketing degree, which is a one-year master's degree specializing in digital. So these days I call myself a consultant, which is a scary situation to be in. I don't have the Interpublic or the Wonderman business card or the Procter & Gamble calling card, so it's just little Mike Berry on his own. So I'm a trainer and consultant. And the other day one of my clients said to me, you know, you consultants, all you do is come into our business, borrow our watch, tell us the time, and then send us an invoice. I hope I'm a better value consultant than that. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Well, we've got a whole load of case histories from real companies who are doing real digital marketing. So this is a blend of theory and best practice and a bit of me trying to teach you, but very importantly, there's an example of what's really going on out there. And we've got some unique situations, unique interviews and access to the marketing directors and their agencies who were behind these campaigns. Every one of them has won an award, mainly for best practice for marketing effectiveness. And also we have found out some of the stories behind the headlines, and people have been very good at sharing their strategies with us, and in some cases their results, which I think is a unique opportunity to understand what's working out there right now. So we're looking at case histories on monopoly city streets, which we're going to talk about. Other examples would include Google's work with the UK Trade and Investment Board for exports, for Burger King, for Jessops, which is a UK photography retailer, but also a very big exponent of affiliate marketing. They take it very seriously, and they won an award for their affiliate program, which I think is very interesting. And we've got some good access to the people at the agency in particular who are trade doubler, who are the experts at affiliate marketing for this client. A UK radio station called KISS, who have recently completely revamped their website, but not for as much money as you might expect. For a UK insurance company called Compare the Market, which is a very surprising case history, and I just don't want to say anything more until you see it, but it's all about car insurance, but it may be more interesting than it sounds. McDonald's, to see what they're doing. We've already had Burger King. McDonald's have a different approach, and also it's an example of social media and using video, which I think we're going to see a lot more of in this year and next year. Some of the latest viral marketing films which have really taken off, and we'll perhaps look at why a viral does suddenly go massive, and sometimes you do everything right but it doesn't work so well. And then look ahead, get our crystal ball out and see what is new, what is next, try and predict what's going to happen in this fast changing world of digital marketing over the next 12 months. And if we have any time by the end of the day, let's have a discussion. Please ask questions during the day as well, and also see me in the breaks. So let's get on with it and let's have a good day. Okay, so let's see what is really happening out there by looking at these case studies. The first one is Monopoly. I think most of us know Monopoly. Most of us grew up with Monopoly, the famous board game. It's been around for a long, long time, and Parker is still selling it. And this year they had a new version called Monopoly City, and they wanted to bring it into the internet age. They wanted to involve young people in the brand, which had a very old reputation, something you played when you were a kid, something your parents and grandparents knew. So a big challenge. In fact, it goes back to 1935. It was first marketed on a broad scale by Parker Brothers in 1935. 275 million games have been sold worldwide. It's now available in 103 countries in 37 languages. It's been a fantastic success story, but as we know, brands need to be refreshed or they die. So looking ahead to the future of Monopoly, this new version of Monopoly, Monopoly City, is intended to be a more intense experience for a different generation. It includes 3D construction, and there was a need particularly to get these digitally savvy 10 to 14-year-olds involved. Here's a quote from Joanne Austin, who's the global marketing manager at Hasbro, which acquired Parker Brothers and acquired Monopoly along with it. She said, "Using digital was a strategic decision for Hasbro. The medium is fantastic for demonstrating how gameplay has changed for the first time since the game's inception." So you've seen the video. Basically, their agency, Tribal DDB, created a 4-month online campaign that took the new Monopoly City gameplay into the real world by turning the globe into a giant game board. In other words, they linked with Google Maps, and that meant they could provide scale and benefit from brand association with one of the most recognizable names online. So that's really good for Monopoly. It's also good for Google, and it was a fantastic partnership. The idea was that each street in the world, each real street, certainly in the big cities of the world, was available to buy. Players competed to buy the most lucrative addresses, to build properties on real streets, and to earn rent and make deals. And the result was the creation of the biggest ever game of Monopoly on a global basis, all done online. But there was nothing really complex about the mechanic. It wasn't difficult for people to get involved. And Roberts said it was disarmingly simple. There were 3 components. There was Google Maps, there was the API data from the third party, and the Monopoly City Streets game. Google was very involved with this. They allowed access to the Maps API, and then the agency used the third-party street data to overlay onto Google Maps and wrapped that into the heart of the gameplay. So effectively, people could buy a street, or their own street, or a street that they liked the look of, and it was like a global game of Monopoly. It was successful. It was almost too successful. It did win the New Media Age Effectiveness Award last year. Particularly, the campaign was really a victim of its own success. Basically, we had a lot of stuff, the agency had a lot of stuff lined up, ready to do to promote the game, to encourage sharing and to make it work virally. A whole advertising campaign online. None of it was needed because it just took off. So the campaign went live and they had 1.7 million visitors on the first day. That, as you can imagine, put quite a strain on the servers. The technical director at Tribal DDB says the biggest challenge was the sheer volume of people and the number of requests. They were trying to maintain data integrity and 500 million dynamic requests each day. They launched it online in English, French, Spanish, Dutch, and German. 170 million houses were created by users all over the world. And this was a fantastic success, more than anyone was expecting, including Hasbro. Overall, they're taking a step back. Board games are boring. This generation thinks it's not for them. However, Hasbro used digital technology very cleverly here. They partnered with Google Maps to create a modern experience, and it sold to adults as well as kids. The adults, who are also web savvy these days, remembered their childhood, had good memories of Monopoly, wanted to be part of this new initiative, and effectively Monopoly was relaunched for a new generation. So a great combination of the old and the new working together, and a big money earner for Hasbro.